What would you say to someone who's in that situation and maybe doesn't see the light?
All I can say is you got to stay positive.
Yeah.
You know, evil's real, and you can't allow it to overcome you, because once you do, you know, it will hold you back. But no matter what, I can tell you from my heart, I've been down 4 times, and to where I had no body muscle, and I had to relearn again and redo it again. There's nothing that's gonna stop you. You know, if you want it, it's there. It's, you know, it just can't stop. You know, like 3 months ago, you know, I died twice in the morning, and I got a pacemaker in me right now to keep my heart going. You know, just in case if it shuts off on me. But I'm still putting out videos, still dancing, still giving my 100 to it. You know. And if you love it, it's going to take control of you, and you will stay healthier by doing it, you know, because it keeps your heart active. People my age.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Garbage Fire. Thank you for tuning in and fueling this flame. Today, I have an exciting guest. He is a personal inspiration of mine with a long career as a b-boy. Please welcome BBoy Kornnut. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Bro? How you doing?
I'm really good. I'm really glad you could come out here because I know you live in Seattle now, but you're from, you know, this area. I mean, you have a big history in the Sacramento area as like an original member of Flex Flav crew. You also had what was it, Wicked Rascals crew back in Modesto. Like I really consider you like a Modesto legend in my mind. So it's really great to have you here. I mean, like when I first started breaking, I was probably like 15 or something, and I remember seeing you and Tony just straight kill it, and I was like, I want to be like these guys. And now that I'm, you know, I'm in probably my 20th year of breaking, and you're still killing it. It's like crazy to me. And like, I don't know, just the longevity you had in this dance is incredible. And like, I want to talk to you about like how you've had that longevity and like what fuels it. What allowed you to do that, you know, mentally or physically, probably both.
Yeah. Let's just say, best way I could say it is, how did it keep? What do you mean, like how it kept going?
Like, what kept you going? I mean, because there's lots of ups and downs in breaking, and you know, and just because you're creating and stuff, and you hit roadblocks. Like, what kept you going? I mean, like, you know what I mean?
The evolution of b-boying is what kept me going. When I first started, you know, because I could say nowadays you would consider it simple, but at that time it was a challenge, you know, to evolve and to express yourself or to try to be ahead of someone.
So you were always striving to, like, I guess, be a better version of yourself so that you can, you know, win a battle or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got it. So like, in terms of, I mean, like from when you were young and first starting, I think you said 1989 was when you first started dancing, or at least like starting to do that, to now. That's kind of a long time. I mean, what is that? More than 30 years. Like, how have you seen the scene change? How has your dance changed? Like, yeah, I mean, you've probably seen a lot.
So in 89, I had a homie that was like first generation out of Modesto, b-boy crew called, I saw it changed a couple of times, but it started as TKO, then Funky Fresh, and Fresh Rock. And my parents were very strict, so I couldn't go anywhere. For the first 5 years of my b-boying career, I pretty much just was learning on the grass in the hood. And I had this homie that was in that crew, and every New Year's Eve, he'd be like just getting down in his living room on the carpet. It was a little 1-bedroom apartment. I mean, it's super small, living in the hood. And I saw him do some moves, and I was like, oh, snaps. You know, he was doing some hand hops and stuff, and I was like, all right. So it inspired me right there, just like, oh, I'm gonna do this because pretty much at the time there was only gangs. You know, there was nothing really else to do.
Yeah.
Hobbies were limited at that time, you know. So I got inspired by it, and it gave me a feeling that just like this is a good way to release my anger, keep me out of trouble. So after 89, I started practicing hand hops and hand spins. Actually, it was hand spins, man. I was trying to be the master of the hand spins in 89 because I was just barely learning how to balance. And by the time you notice, floats, crickets, and crabs. And then 1990, my homie, you know, he's breaking in his living room, and again, New Year's Eve. And I was like, well, you know, I've been practicing. And we battled out right there, and that was like my first little, you know, battle. But this guy this guy was already dope. So he honestly has some dope stuff. And but we were just doing hand hops. The house was small. You know, the living room was small, and it was a fun battle. I got smoked, but you know, it helped me push myself to come back and train harder and harder. And believe it or not, after I think about 3 years, I had a lot of good, about 3 to 4 years, I think. I had a lot of good moves already, and I started passing up my mentors, what I called them at that time, you know, because if I needed any questions, how to do this, do that, he would give me the advice, and, you know, and honestly, like, by the time I knew it, I was already beating him in moves, and he's like, all right, I'm going to quit, and I thought he was just joking. But he literally just quit.
You made him? He like
I
just
don't know
because of how good you were, or
no? I think it was just like I don't know. It was his form was definitely dope.
Yeah,
he always had form.
I mean, probably just like
whatever. Faded out, kind of like it was. You know, it was a hobby for him. Is the way I would see it, and you know, he did it, and he killed it. He made his mark. He had some of the dopest halos, some icy ices. I saw dopest icy ices out of him, and nasties and karaoke's, and you know, just the Wimmo form and everything that comes with it.
But it wasn't a hobby for you though.
At that moment, nah, it was really deep in my soul. I really saw myself like I just wanted it to be the best at every move that was out there. So that was pretty much the foundation at that time.
Like a very competitive spirit.
Yeah, like nothing was gonna stop me. I always seen it as, you know, spending my time b-boying and doing what I did, you know, fired me for like to spend more time with b-boying instead of being out on the street or being at the wrong place at the wrong time, because that happened a lot in my life where, oh dude, this went down, where were you? I was like, I was at a b-boy jam. Thank God, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so it kept me out of situations where, you know, friends get shot at or something, you know, drive-bys. You know, this is like the early 90s, you know, so it was bad around those times. You know, gangs were pretty much the only thing that was out there, and neither you could be a gangster or be a b-boy. And believe it or not, even though b-boying was very silent, not too many people knew about it. But when you see it, it was like the way your body moved, the art of your body just makes you fall in love with it. To where you can express how you feel. If you had a bad day, you can put it out on the floor.
It's important to have some way to like get out some sort of aggression and creative energy at the same time. And that honestly might be why some people were gangbanging instead of doing something more productive with their life, because it's just like they didn't know what to release this huge energy that they have. Hey, why don't we do that? You know, bad stuff here. I mean,
it really does. I mean, like I said, less options. You know, and if you have a broken home or you lived a rough childhood. You know, so and in the 90s, you probably did, especially if you lived in the hood or anything like that. There's a lot of dope b-boys that never made it out in the scene in that time. There was so many dope b-boys, and they just never made out. You know, media wasn't like the way it is nowadays. YouTube, all this stuff, you couldn't afford it. But man,
I mean, breaking wasn't really anything. It was just like I mean, it was like playing, I don't know, tic-tac-toe or something. Like, no, there's no sport. There's no, it's not on TV. It's nothing. Like, it's just, you go and do it with your friends or whatever, and it's not on TV. You're not going to get any kind of, like, the only reason to do it was because you loved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
not like now when you see, you get like tons of Instagram, like all sorts of social media followers and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally different. I mean, you know.
It definitely has evolved.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's pretty much what the evolving of b-boying is. It's kind of crazy, but now things are become more foundation to the b-boying scene. You know, a lot of signature moves are now foundations for the scene now. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is dope, because that's just letting you know that, you know, someone old school left that there.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's a fundamental type thing.
I like to remind people when they talk about footwork and stuff, and they go, yeah, you got to know foundation. And then you go, but you know the move that everybody does, CC's, is named after Crazy Commando's crew. That was their signature move. I mean, that was a signature move, and now it's everybody does it. So like, just remember, like,
where it
how this came to be, and how you can influence it yourself. Because all those guys did was they just came up with a dope move, and then now it's a fundamental move, you know.
Exactly.
So
I know when, like, for instance, when I started, once I got all the basic ground power moves, because there was no air flares at that time, or elbow air tracks either.
Yeah.
Then I tried to create it from there to keep myself hungry, because I wanted to do something that nobody was doing. So that's where, you know, like, for instance, the reverse floats, anything I do reverse hand hop wise, it's because I couldn't it wasn't my right arm, you know, made to do
I
it.
see.
So I learned it backwards, because it was eventually about when you transition your power, you needed that flow. So I wasn't going to stop my flow to go floats the other way. So I just tried to learn how to reverse everything, and paid off, because I learned a lot of moves doing reverse.
Yeah. I mean, dang, dude, you're like the king of that stuff. So
I love that move.
Yeah. So would you say that hip hop has really like changed your life? I mean, it sounds like it has.
Yeah, I would consider myself pretty much like a West Coast b-boy that's been in hip hop. Even though I consider myself hip hop, even though I'm not DJing every day, or graffitiing every day, or, you know, rhyming and rapping, but I am a part of the element. I had a little bit hands in a little bit of everything, but never went full master with any of them, like what I've done with.
But you live the life, and you know, like, it flows with you. You know
it flows. I appreciate their art as well. You know, that's why sometimes it's you know, you got to keep the true hip hop alive. You know, because as generation goes, it kind of gets washed down, or something's not taught in. And that does come down to, like, a lot of us OGs not giving that point of view or anything.
Well, you know what I've been realizing is that hip hop is a very what would you say, like the history is all through spoken word, right? Like, when I learned from somebody, it was always they said something or showed me something, and I learned it from them. And everybody who learns from me was from that. And so, like, there's no book you can go read. I mean, now they have some kind of, you know, YouTube, like, videos and stuff like the ones that my brother does. But, like, largely, the history is not recorded anywhere. Like, maybe a few documentaries, and that's it. So I think it's important to, like, actually document these things, because once, like, we're gone, and if we didn't tell anybody, like, it's over. You know, I mean, just think about, like, you know, knock on wood, like, when Ken Swift dies, like, if he didn't pass all his knowledge off to somebody, like, it's just lost to the tapes of him just dancing. You know what I mean?
And that's true, because, you know, it is. It's good that there's the OGs that are out there, you know, doing that.
Yeah, and they're. I mean, yeah, I think, you know, the Zulu mentality, each one teach one, I think is like super important because, you know, and I think that's what has kept this thing going. And now we're at a point where technology kind of allows us to really spread the teaching. So I think that's one good thing about that.
Yeah, so it's not lost, you know. It's just like YouTube's been around forever. I put videos on YouTube like way back, and it's still kind of there. Hopefully it doesn't disappear. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things like, oh dang, I don't remember this footage.
There's a lot of footage of me that I see online. I'm like, oh, I don't remember even doing this.
It's like, dang, they can delete that one.
Yeah, no, some of it's like, oh, I got smoked. Why is this still here?
It's true.
Why couldn't you put the time when I smoked you?
Yeah, dang, you made that look good. No,
yeah. It's funny. I look at old footage of myself. I'm like, oh, I don't even remember doing that move. Like
all day.
There's so much like old stuff that I just forgot. And it was, I don't even remember how to do the move, you know, to be honest.
Yeah, but my thing is that I've been doing it so long, I don't even know if that's my move that you bid or not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know anymore because it's, you know, it's been doing it so long. And, I always try to, you know, transitions and power I love that stuff. Anything to keep your body flowing like a gymnast, pretty much, you know, or keep the flow going. That's how I love my power. And, yeah, now it's a different mentality, but yeah.
This episode of Noise of the Broke Boys is brought to you by tissue paper. Have you ever watched the movie Old Yeller in front of your friends and began to feel the fabric of your man or womanhood subtly crumble as you search for a way to blame your tears on freshly sliced onions? Or maybe you have no soul and you're actually cutting onions as the poor boy raised the rifle to Old Yeller's rabies-ridden face. Hey dancers, have you ever been in a dance battle and fell straight on your face? But it's cool because that's your style, but then the judges are old school and don't understand your teenage angst? Or what about that time you posted that video on social media of you almost hitting that dance move that everybody does, but the only person that liked it was your grandma? Well, I'm here to tell you that tissue paper is here for you. Tears in your eyes? My boy Tissue Paper has got your back. Snotty nose? Tissue to the rescue. Poopy booty? Tissue paper is in your corner, my dude. Hit up your nearest store and purchase some tissue paper for all your emergency needs. And now, on to the show. So, what would you say is like your favorite part of like all of this, of hip hop, of dance and breaking?
To be honest, is to express yourself, express your own soul pretty much without being judged. I mean, yes, if you want to be judged, you can enter a competition, but if you just want to express yourself, your feelings, you know, for that moment there, you can just get down. And everyone has their own opinion and everyone has their own feelings. So when you get down in ciphers, you know, it's nice because you can see that, you know, they're expressing themselves. But one more time.
Yeah, well, do you think that maybe that's what fuels your longevity? Is just like this desire to, you know, to like express yourself? And I mean, because that doesn't go away with time. Like you always want to do that. So I feel like maybe that's something that fuels it.
Yeah. I've seen it in the world, honestly, too, as well. You know, the evolution of it. It really keeps me inspired. You know, to know that it was bigger than what I started. And I feel like the longevity of it is, you know, don't stop. I always think about, like, if you're standing still and you don't move, you're not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just stop. You got to always keep moving forward. You know, it's like once you find yourself stopping, then you pretty much kind of gave up, you know. So always give yourself a new task. When I train, I always, you know, today I'm just gonna use my left leg and concentrate on the steps, and, you know, and make up something new. Maybe not, you know. But
you're always trying to move, taking another step forward.
Another step forward. That's it. Once you find yourself just doing the same thing over and over, sets or whatever, then I mean, there's competitor sets, right? We all gotta have sets for competing. But nowadays, I don't even think they're gonna do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like they just go ham.
Yeah, just throw everything all in one round.
Yeah.
That's crazy how that that is.
It is.
So you mentioned like always trying to take a step forward and doing that, and I think one of the most inspirational stories you have, I think, is like you had a lot of I guess health issues at one point, and I remember seeing you when that happened, and it was like you didn't know if you were gonna break ever again. Like you didn't know if you'd even move or whatever, like it's so and now when I see you dance now, it looks like that, none of that ever happened, like, because it seems like you still get down the way you did when I was 15 and I was looking up to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I want to ask you, like, I guess what were you feeling in that moment? And like, I guess how did you strive? How did you get out of that? I mean, it's just like such a crazy story.
Yeah. So there's a couple of stories with that, but that one for there, I mean, doing something that you love to do every day, and then just to know that you're in that position where you might not ever be able to do it again. Mm-hmm. It is kind of scary, but if you make it through, you always got to think about the people that don't make it through something. They're gone too early. Rest in peace to anybody that died too early, and it happens a lot nowadays. So when that moment in my life happened, I didn't know what was going on, and all I know is that one day everything just went dizzy, boom. And by the time I noticed, I was sitting in the hospital, and kind of find out, I had an infection that was slowly deteriorating stuff in my body and causing a lot of issues. And one of it is like a little bit of brain damage, where, if I have a hard time remembering certain things, that's because of that. But it doesn't stop me from growing still. I'm still growing in my job. I'm still evolving. I think once you allow something to defeat you, then that's when, you don't give up. You got to make sure you never get defeated, But that right there was a really hard moment, but I really felt like our scene really did, and I want to say thanks to everyone that helped me out in that rough time of my life, not knowing that, hey, never know if I was going to be able to break again, and that's all pretty much I did every day, 7 days a week, I would say, for hours and hours, because I wanted it to be the best at being me. It wasn't, if I ever got in a battle, I wanted to make sure I did my best and didn't get smoked just because I didn't do my best at that moment in a competitor life. But going back, for everybody that supported me in that time, that was actually very inspiring. It really pushed me to like, dang, like I met so many people through b-boying. I mean, and these are all dope people, and when I felt like I was gonna like not break again, and then I asked the doc one day, and after I was like healing a little bit, I was like, man, can I ever, breakdance again? I hate to say breakdancing, but that's how people know it as, if they're not b-boying. And I would tell him, and he'd be like, well, yeah, you should be, no problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like,
that's inspiring.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is awesome, because, I'm going to show that I can get back on the horse and just get back into it like nothing happened. And I got out, and yeah, it was rough. It was a rough start, a couple, I think it was like a month. It was really rough after I got out of the hospital. And I started off with just, actually, you know what? I started coming back home to my hometown,
Yeah.
That's though.
I remember you were coming back.
Yeah, to the homies, and got to go down to, your roots. Sometimes you got to start back at your roots again. that's never gonna leave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the whole West Coast has been part of my whole b-boy history. You know,
Yeah.
Oregon, I spent time there, and then Washington now, and then California.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so you're a true West Coast b-boy. You've been all.
that's what I was saying. You know, they know about me everywhere up the West Coast.
Yeah.
Maybe not the East Coast. Who's that? I don't know. I'm a West Coast b-boy. Straight homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, going to the roots, learning footwork because I was a power head.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to master footwork, trying to get, you know, see their vision, and then understanding, you know, their roots. And of course, as a b-boy, for like me, I never really wanted to learn the fundamentals. I kind of just want to evolve on my own, so that way I could be different. So as long as I can understand the concept of it, then I just try to make up my own originality out of it. So if someone says, hey, can you do a 6-step? No, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there's my footwork. You know, but that was a moment. I don't know how to do the 6-step now. Okay, but
when you were in that hospital bed and you were like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get out of here, or like, I guess like, what went on in your mind, and what, like, were you thinking about, like, man, there's so many things I want to still accomplish? Like, is that what fueled it?
There definitely was part of that. I mean, I sat there in the bed and I thought of moves. You know what I mean? I was
that's what a real b-boy would do.
I was like, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna try this move to that move.
Oh yeah.
And you always come up with your best moves, and as soon as you get out and hit the, or you get out and you're ready to hit that floor, you're like, what was that one I was thinking about while I was in there? You know, and it's like, damn, I should have wrote it down.
So would you say you had a pretty like positive like feeling, I guess, about this, because you were obviously thinking about moves and you're like, I'm excited to get out of here to like get down on the floor? Like, would you say that helped you a lot?
Yeah, honestly, I felt like honestly God gave me a second chance.
Yeah.
And he's actually gave me more than second chances. And, you know, it's probably like my fourth chance in life. But you know, it was like, it ain't my time yet. You know, it's like, it's time to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when you, like, soon after you know, you were up walking again and dancing again, like we were training together, and you were just like, it's like I was like reborn. This is like a second chance. This is a third chance. This is a fourth chance, whatever. This is a new like opportunity to like do this. And like, you were just, I don't know. We were dancing in Oakland, and like, there was a bunch of people who had never met you before, and they were just like, yo, who is this dude? And I was like, oh, you don't know him? He was the man from back in the day. And like, now it's crazy that he's like even better now. But I mean,
hey, I don't know. I mean, like they say, the music make you do it.
Yeah, the music makes you do it.
Yeah, and you know, everybody, I don't know. It's just b-boying really has saved my life and has opened my view of not being judgmental, anything like that. So I love the scene. I love how it's still evolving, you know.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see, because when I'm sitting in that couch and I can't get down no more, I never know, that might be some kid I remember or someone I taught, you know. And I'm like, dang, you know, could be on YouTube. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be in the Olympics. Yeah, you never know, really.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, how the scene was back then and now, how it is now. I mean, like, obviously you basically grew up just in this scene. Like, what do you think? Like, what is the differences from back then and now? Like,
knowledge is out there now.
Knowledge, okay.
Yeah, that's really out there, you know, but it depends how you take the knowledge too. You know, young kids that are inspired, and sometimes they take the knowledge as they don't know the rules of b-boying, you know, about biting or doing the same set or something. But I feel like that's way less nowadays, because it's such a bigger scene now. You know, it's like everyone, when I used to mention back in the 90s, I thought that died out in, you know, back in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, nah, it's still there, but just a little small group, you know. And when they see you do things back in the 90s, you know, there wasn't that really body movement, you know, like, yeah, you were doing some nice power moves or something, you know, but it wasn't like, you know, and everybody pays attention to the detail.
Yeah, it definitely looks different. I think.
You know, each body movement counts, being, you know, on the beat, listening to the music. Back then, we didn't have to do that, really. It was like, who got the dopest? It was pretty much basic power, you know? And there was footwork guys, but they were like in their own little, you know, footwork, power.
Yeah, it was very segmented.
Yeah, back then. And, you know, the only way to really, back in the 90s, to go practice b-boying was neither at school or going to a rave, which that was kind of a thing back then. And you go to the raves, and it's not the music you want to dance to, but, you know, at least you get to go to a spot where you could just get down. Kind of moves. But that's before musicality came, you know, and then musicality became very big as the 90s started going on, and then the dancing on beat, you know, doing moves, doing certain tricks on beat, you know, it's just like, it's very catchy to the eye nowadays, to where it has evolved, like, so catchy to where, you know, it's just like, whoa, like, your body can move like that? Hold on, man, I need to update my body. Hold on. You know?
No, definitely. There's some crazy stuff nowadays. What would you say to, like, a young person who's, you know, in the scene, and you want to impart a lot of your knowledge from, you know, from like YouTube era to them? What are some things you would say to them to, like, get them to understand, like, that world?
For the b-boy scene, I would say take knowledge as much as you can from everyone and anything you can, but do not put it in full play until you find your own self of what you believe is to your style. You know, everybody's kind of like inspired by some OG guy that because that was their style, they felt like it was, you know, an attachment, like, oh, that's dope, that's how I want to be moving, you know. But originally is learn all your fundamentals, dig deep into your history, you know, ask OGs around, and do a lot of research on hip-hop, so you kind of really do know where, you know, b-boying came from, you know. And I know hip-hop is, I think it got more elements into it now. I don't know if it's 4 elements, but I think it's evolved now.
It's starting to, I don't know,
that's another thing.
I'm curious who decided it was those 4, and then
how does it get added on?
How do you add on to it?
You got, you know, because
no, you're right. There's a lot of stuff.
And I think I stumbled onto a YouTube video where it's something about some other dance part of the element. I was like, okay, I don't know nothing right now. You know, I was like, who does, you know? Yeah,
no, that's always, like, confused me too, because, well, like, I understand why we have the elements that we have now, because that was there when it started. Like those elements created hip hop, like they all, like, created themselves essentially.
But evolution always happens.
But yeah, now we're at a point where you're getting new parts that are kind of hip hop, kind of like outside of it. I mean, in a way, like, skateboarding is kind of like a little bit hip hop, like, but it's not. So it's weird. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a different.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just so many things. I guess the best thing to say is hip hop has inspired a lot of things, and it's cool to see how much it's inspired stuff from where it started. You know, and I think that's dope. That, you know, we're at this point where, you know, you know, some new culture is probably gonna bloom out of hip hop.
That's pretty much
kind of like how hip hop bloomed out of, like, jazz music and, you know, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's you know, it's true. Like, learn the roots of it, everything. That's the only thing I could say, because I don't know, and it's just one of those things that I mean, I didn't get to learn my roots right away. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, you were creating the roots too.
Yeah, so that's true. You know, I actually, when I first saw, like, full like straight power moves. Like it was from and I hate to say this, but it was from Storm, like a video VHS that kind of slipped through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and through the West Coast.
Mm.
And I saw like a bunch of power moves. I was like, what? And then later on I saw the Renegade versus Freestyle. Yeah, and then I was like, this. I mean, you gotta understand that at my time I was considered very poor, so we didn't have you know, TVs. You know, like we didn't have too much stuff. You know, so I didn't get to see anything till really late. I had a strict background, didn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, Ivan.
Max.
No, the other Ivan.
Urban Action Figure.
Yeah, Ivan.
They're both
Urban
from the same area. So.
Yeah. Respect to all both Ivans.
Yeah.
But you know, he was like, convinced my mom to take me out.
Yeah.
And he took me out to a jam, and that's when he opened my eye about jams. And for a whole year, we just kind of just tore, you know, up and down from like here to San Jose to LA, and he was just showing me the scene, and it was amazing, and that made me fall in love more. And my car blew up, and reality came back, and you know, I had to get a job and didn't have a car no more. I couldn't just travel, you know. But it was dope. You know, and it's just like the scene has changed so much to where it's you know.
It's almost unrecognizable to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because I go there and to like a jam nowadays, and it's all sponsored and stuff, and it's like it's all organized and shit, and I'm like, man, when I first went to a jam, and I was going to jams after they already kind of sort of figured stuff out, but not really. And it was a complete mess. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, where's everybody? Like, oh, no one, the judges aren't here. Let's just, hey, you want to judge? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a total mess. Like, nobody knew how to throw a jam.
It kind of sounded like my best of the best. I entered my first battle. And it was Tony and Old Tie, they entered together on that one. And I entered with some random guy. He just did 90s, dope 90s, made me fall in love with 90s. And at that time, I did do 90s. I had every hand hop, windmills, and I even had, you know, no, actually I did have 90s. I just didn't have a lot of 90s. I had windmill 90s before I even had windmill. So just so you guys know that. I didn't even have windmills before I learned windmill 90.
You know, I had body glide windmills before I had actual windmills.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It's weird.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, snaps. But yeah, so where were we at again?
What were we talking about? I don't know. We kind of just ranted.
Yeah.
Your opinion of the scene.
Oh, so, dang. Now I'm so. Sorry,
like
guys.
Comparing and contrasting the scene from when you started to now.
Yeah. So, for instance, just like me, I'm now. I feel like at another evolving stage because I can't really do power moves as much as I could. But doesn't mean I'm gonna stop being a b-boy because it's already built in my blood. It's built in my soul. And there ain't no day I don't think about doing something, even though I don't get down every day anymore. But still, mentally, my mind's still thinking of things. But just like evolution in the scene, I feel like I'm at a part where I'm actually evolving. I'm trying to, like, you know, mix, which is kind of weird, but, you know, like popping to my top style to, you know, making something that I don't normally do. But it's just, you know, it's the next part of my evolution because I can't make up new power moves, you know. It's like I'd rather make up new power moves, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, now I'm over here just to kill the beat, feel the flavor, you know. You just have fun with it as much as I can before it's too late, because, you know, you never know. You just never know.
Yeah, you never know. You had your health issues kind of reframed your mind and got
every time. Yep.
Actually, I'm curious. What would you say to someone who's in a situation like you were back then, you know, in a bed going like, oh, what's going to happen next? I don't know if I can break again. Like, you know, obviously you kept your spirits high and obviously you're back to where you were before or somewhere close to that. What would you say to someone who's in that situation and maybe doesn't see the light?
All I can say is you got to stay positive.
Yeah.
you know, evil's real, and you can't allow it to overcome you, because once you do, you know, it will hold you back. But no matter what, I could tell you from my heart, I've been down 4 times, and to where I had no body muscle, and I had to relearn again and redo it again. There's nothing that's gonna stop you. You know, if you want it, it's there. It's, you know, it just can't stop. You know, like 3 months ago, you know, I died twice in the morning, and I got a pacemaker in me right now to keep my heart going. You know, just in case if it shuts off on me. But I'm still putting out videos, still dancing, still giving my 100 to it. You know, and if you love it, it's gonna take control of you, and you will stay healthier by doing it. You know, because it keeps your heart active. People my age, sometimes they don't even do anything except for drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, you know, and then sit on the couch or whatever. I see it all day, and it's like, how old are you? You're 32? I'm like, man, I'm like 41 right now, and you know, dang. You know, it's definitely something that don't let anything hold you back. I can tell you that for sure. If it's in you, it's in you. You know, if you have to start baby steps, you start off baby steps. You know, it's just, I can't spin on my head no more, but doesn't mean it's gonna stop me from dancing. You know, so or being a b-boy. You know, it's if it's in you, it's in you. You love it.
Yeah, I mean, and you figure out a way to make it work. I mean, I guess that's what's great about breaking is you have all these different tools, and you go, oh yeah, now I can't use this one tool, but let me just create a new tool now. I can't go on my head anymore, but let me show you what I can do when I'm standing up or when I'm doing some footwork, like, you know what I mean? So you just recreated your style in a way, you know.
Every time, and it's been 4 times already, you know, and it's like, and then if it ain't, man, it's just weird. It's like each time it's like you get reawakened, and you like, it becomes more clearer. You know, on evolving of what you want to do, and it's like, no one's doing this, I'm gonna do this now.
You know, to be honest, I think if you're not constantly like recreating your style, I feel like you're probably not breaking correctly. You know what I mean? Like, it's because it's not like you somehow just arrive at a style and you're like, all right, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, you're always getting better. I mean, I guess look at Remind. I think he's a good example of it, because like, he's just had this long, huge career, and he's always been killing it. And you can see his style is very distinct at different times, but it's always
evolving.
It's always been evolving, and it's always been him. And like, I guess it's just a good example of, you know,
people that just doesn't stand still. They keep going.
Yeah, he keeps going.
Yeah. And there's a lot of OG cats. That's why they're OG b-boys, and they're still doing it. Much respect, y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't think they could stop breaking, even if they try. If someone said, here's $1 million to stop breaking, I think they would just say, no, I can't take that.
Honestly, I think about, like, if I ever stop breaking, I think my body will like give up on me, honestly.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because it's like so used to being an athletic a b-boy, you know, and it's just like our muscles that we gain, they start deteriorating, you start aching. But
you just suddenly combust. It's like,
well,
to me, I think if I had stopped breaking, I'd be like, what am I doing now? Like, what am I gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's like, why am I even here now? Like,
now it's like, I'm gonna go to the gym, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna lift some weights, but why?
Yeah, it's like to look good. I'm 40.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously.
But I honestly, though,
like, gives you something to live for, gives you something to like really look forward to. I mean, I think it's important.
It's important. It's nice to be healthy. That's all.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and what's great about it, I think, is that it's such an active thing. It's, you know, I think it's good for your health in terms of exercise, and then it's also good for your mental health in terms of it lets you just be creative. How many things in this life let you just be creative? You know what I mean? There's nothing. You go to work and it's like, do this, do that. Okay, that's the end of that. Script. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't get crazy with it. You got to go by the book right here. Otherwise, we're gonna lose profit or whatever.
Exactly.
You know? Like, But with breaking, it's like, hey, you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, you want to put your foot over your head, go for it. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no one's here to judge you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just express yourself. They need or like you or don't.
Yeah.
That's it. But I mean, that's because it doesn't mean they don't like you. They're just not feeling your style. It's not their style. That's all.
Or they just don't understand it yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that just don't understand stuff, and then they immediately go, I don't know. No. But I think there's a lot of people that don't do that too. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, usually when I see something new that's weird,
I'm like, ooh.
I'll go, what is that? Let me take another look at it. And usually I open up to it because it's just someone doing
their art.
Yeah, I appreciate that someone is they're out there doing something different than what other people are doing.
Exactly.
And that's with it. That's with anything. That's just art, I think. You know what I mean? That's not just breaking. That's whatever. Like, I see some weird song that comes out. I listen to it going like, oh, what the hell are they doing? But, hey, maybe someone's feeling it, you know what I mean? And it's hopefully it's there for someone when they needed it too,
Exactly, yeah. Because everyone has, we're all, everyone's, our horoscope, or Geminis or Scorpions, everybody has their own personality, and they express their self in a different way, and it's just written in the stars, it's just the way it is, just like certain people don't get along with certain people just because it's written in the stars.
That's when you battle them.
Yeah, it's like I don't like something about this guy. I'm just gonna battle him.
Yeah.
See what he got.
That's what's good about breaking. Yes. You don't like him, just battle them.
That's it.
You know what I mean? You don't need to fight, just battle.
Well, except for the early '90s, after the battle was
then
a
you
fight.
fight. Yeah, it
was fun. I used to, much respect to Charles. I used to love battling Charles back in the early '90s because we'd be like arguing like we're gonna box, but after, boys, what's up, man? We're good.
Charles, is cool.
Yeah. So it was good to run into him once in a while, with, in the early '90s because he had pushed me to that limit. You know?
You don't really see that too much in the scene nowadays.
No.
One thing I would say, like, when I first started breaking, there was a lot of rivalries. Mm-hmm. And now I don't really see too many rivalries, which I'm kind of miss.
Yeah, because that really gave you more motivation to make your crew better as well. Yeah. It's like, oh, dude, we got to smoke these cats when we see them.
Maybe I'm just not as connected to the scene as I used to be, but it just doesn't seem like I see as many, like, just crews like, I don't care about this jam. I just want to battle you. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was all the time at a jam. Every jam had a beef battle, but it's like
pretty much, yeah.
I don't really see that too often, but maybe I'm just clueless.
I don't really see it. Yeah, you're right. You don't see it too much. Yeah. I remember though, it was like you go, hell yeah.
And maybe it's because everyone's so much more connected. Like with social media, so if you had a problem, like if me and you had a problem, you could just call me or text me or whatever and say, hey, I hate your guts.
But I just call you out though.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the old school. It'd be like, we're gonna battle. But nowadays, I feel like people probably just talk shit to each other on the internet, and then they go to the gym. They're like,
don't talk to each other.
Oh man, I hate your guts. I'm gonna go over there. You go over there.
And I actually hear stories like that. That's true, man. But you know what though? Also, the reason why is because a lot of the b-boys that were in the '90s, early '90s, or even mid '90s, they were like gangsters. So they had that mentality, and it's like, it's like it was a good way to get in a fight without getting in a fight.
Yeah, it's definitely like sizing people up, Yeah, I mean,
and evolution changing, everybody's buddies. So so it's like it's like the media made it easier for more people to be just over a message or something, and you get to see everybody's stuff and everything. I don't know. I think it was more just undercover. It was more like
I definitely think the ability to just post a video of you breaking and then the whole world sees it has really changed the scene, because before then, the only time I get to see someone break, like someone who I really looked up to, like you, I'd have to go to the jam. Like sometimes I'd have to go to Modesto to like see you break or whatever, or like go to a jam where you were at. And otherwise I would probably never see you unless I like train with you or whatever. But that would be once in a while, so But nowadays it's just like, hey, everything is right there and everybody sees it. I think that's probably why a lot of people bite nowadays, and there's a lot of styles that look similar. But
all I know is my whole career in this doing b-boying, being a b-boy is I used to love to travel just to practice with different people at their practice spots. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might get into a battle because someone looked at you or saw you one time and they're like, damn, what? You know what I mean? But it was always nice though. Like, that's why I've been up and down the West Coast my whole b-boy career, because I go to Portland, I go practice with cats out there, you know, and then I go to Washington, go practice out there. I come back to Cali, practice down here, you know, and it's just kind of keeping myself relevant in the West Coast.
You think that's influenced your style, like in terms of you go out and see, because obviously all those areas, Portland, Seattle, all them, they have like a different style than like the Northern California, Central California area. And same thing, Southern California has a way different style too. I mean, I would think that having such a, like a, living in so many different areas and breaking there and participating in the scenes there probably had a big influence on your style.
I would say if I was more, so I don't know how to, but here, since I was a power head, I was all about power, and footwork and everything else it was cool, but like I wasn't a fan of power. Made me fall in love with power. I just really wanted to be the best power guy. I didn't care about six step. I didn't care about dancing, anything. And then seeing different areas, like, you know, like soul shifters and you know, originalities, you know, the old school guys, you know, seeing the, you know, from Washington, from another crew, Vibe Tribe, you know, from Portland, and then being in LA, it's like they all had their different flavors. Yeah. And it really did open, like, dang, the culture is just so much flavor, you know. Yeah. And I was a power guy, so if anything, I was always trying to influence people with power, because power at the beginning was kind of hard for people to learn, because, you know, you couldn't just YouTube it up at the early 90s, you know. So if you went somewhere, you can practice with people, and it was always like, hey, how you do this move? You know, how can I work on this? How can I honestly, if you're a power guy, I'll tell you right now, body straightening with no weights is the best way. I mean, I mean, you could do weights, but it doesn't. Doesn't help.
I mean, free weights is probably the next best thing, but I mean, nothing beats just like straight calisthenic type of workouts, because it's like doing power moves. You're doing that. You're throwing your body around, so you might as well work out using your own body weight. And there's definitely a lot of exercises you can do that will give you the right, I guess, resistance that can build muscle like that.
Yeah, and the core matters, you know what I mean? Does, yeah. It really matters. So, like, that core's strong, and you can speed it up and slow it down. That's how you change your speed and direction and your moves. So if your core's not strong, then you're just doing one speed power, you know? And all the years I've learned, it's like, okay, that core really matters, but it's a lot of workout. You know? Yeah, so...
So you see all these like buff power heads.
Yeah, they look like gymnast bodies. You know?
I know. Yeah.
They're like, damn. I was like that too in high school. I had gymnastics for 4 years. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I had like 2 periods. So.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, and I'd be hella cut up just because all I did was practice flares, 90s flares.
I feel like that's in the age where the breaking is in the Olympics. I feel like we're gonna see a lot of b-boys that just look like, you know, gymnasts.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like that's where it's going.
Like, okay, are you? I can't tell anymore. You know, the style will change. The dressing might even change by then.
What is your opinion about like the Olympics?
You know, to me, I just feel like when I'm old and I'm not at the jam, I'm not, you know, I can't go anywhere. Maybe I'm not mobile or something, you know. I'm just thinking of the future of it. At least I'm going to see it on TV, maybe. You know what I mean? But like telling my grandkids, yeah, your grandpa, you know, used to do that, you know.
Yeah.
I don't believe you, grandpa, you know. Let's be up on YouTube, you know. But, you know, stuff like that. That's the only, you know, I kind of, it's always been a talk about it, getting there. But it's, as much as I love it, it's gonna take away from the actual. It might divide our scene up again, or divide the culture of it.
I can see that
getting
happening.
confused with it even more. And that's why it's a really big thing. And I see a lot of OG cats starting to want to get their classes going. Awesome, because you know what? If we don't do it, it's just gonna fade, and it's gonna become something else in 20 years from now. Just like the whole argument about b-boying and breakdancing. It's just the media flips it, turns it around.
Yeah, I am kind of afraid of the media flipping breaking into something, gymnastics to hip hop music, like that's like, I'd hate to see that happen.
Yeah.
So I do think it's great that there's a lot of people that are opening up dance studios and stuff, and kind of like getting ready for this inevitable influx of new people once the Olympics happens. I think we're gonna see probably a lot of new B-girls, B-boys coming in, and they need to be taught by someone who knows what's up, and not be by like, I don't know,
some coach. I don't know. What I mean? It's like really don't have
Coach
a history.
Windmill who,
he learned how to do YouTube on windmills on YouTube. So now he's gonna teach his class tomorrow.
I don't want to. I really don't want to see that. I want to see people like learning history along with like moves and dancing and everything. I mean, I feel like learning history is just as important as learning like how to dance, really. I mean,
it's true. I mean, I've been thinking about this, because like I feel like my time is slowly going, not anytime soon, but slowly fading. And it's like I've been thinking about starting my own studio, but as well up in where I live at, which is still away from Seattle. It's kind of like the outskirts. It's the Valley. But it's out there called the Valley.
The Washington Valley.
Yeah. So like I kind of want to just, because parents are gonna see this, they're gonna want their kids to get involved, or the kid might want to get involved. So I figured like, well, I need to hurry up and get a studio, or some class things going, and get maybe involve other things, just so I could fill up all the time frame in the studio. But start doing something like that, because I feel like it's gonna kick off one day, and when it does, they're gonna be looking for where to put their.
I don't want to leave
kids.
them hanging.
Then you're gonna leave it with some guy that really don't know nothing, and he's teaching them the whole new mentality.
Like here's the Red Bull windmill, and we're gonna teach you how to do the vitamin water sponsored whirly do. Like, no, come on, we don't need to learn all that stuff. Like, let's learn, like, I mean, I think maybe what people who maybe just started breaking now, or like, after the YouTube era, they don't understand how different it was back when, like, you started, back when I started. And what even before, because it was just like rolling around on the floor, and your parents are like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, this is kind of becoming like some legit sport maybe, and there's money involved with it. Like, this is a potential like career path maybe, in 10 or 20 years. Hey, maybe you're gonna see people getting sponsored, like skateboarders get sponsored, making tons of money, winning competitions that are like, $1 million or whatever. Like, that's not out of the cards, but
just reborn me again. I'm ready.
For real. I mean?
Let me
but
be
it's
young
like,
again.
But
start training.
If you just were like born into just seeing that, and you don't understand that, like, breaking started just by some dude playing music, and some kids just rolling around on the floor, and he decided to play that record again, and hey, they like this song, let's play it again, play it again, let's keep playing this little 10-second part. That's how breaking started.
Pretty much.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
If you don't understand that, I feel like you can't really call yourself a b-boy or a b-girl. Yeah,
it's true, because I was like, I had to do like my research myself. Like I said, I was home for 5 years, and when I went out to the scene, it was just like, you know, and I had my boy Ivan too, urban action figure, kind of guide me on some of this stuff. But you know, like it just still, you know, you got to do your research because it's really good to know, and especially if you're gonna walk around and say you're a b-boy, and then someone brings up something, then you're like, what? Like, you know, for a minute that was me because I didn't know everybody. I didn't care to know all the b-boys in the scene. You know, it's like really like I was just about myself when I was young. I wanted to be the dopest b-boy. I just want to bite this guy. I don't want to care about what he's doing. I just wanted to be the first one to make up a move. I wanted to be able to first one to master it. I wanted to, you know. Now it's like it's. It's
I think
like
that's.
that.
I think it's a good. It's a good thing. It's a good mentality to have to want to do that, but also. It's also important to know where everything came from because you have respect for it, and you can show people the struggle that was there and help them understand like where the feeling of this dance came from, you know, so that they can they can get inspired by something else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's why it's really important to dig into the roots because, like I said, I didn't do that at the beginning, and then I did, and then it's just like, oh, you know, now this is why I love it. I didn't, you know, I didn't know some of these things. You know, it was one of those things I already felt. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know how to explain, but then when I looked into it, I was like, oh, this is hip hop. This is dope.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, that's it, dude. Yeah. Well, this is probably a good time to close this show up since we're about to hit an hour. You have any last minute shout outs? Anything? Where can people find you?
You know, shout outs to all the crews still out there, the OG crews. I mean, you got the new generation out there starting off with them, but it's nice to see still. You know, respect to all my crews out there because I got his squad, I got flight to 209 flight, I got, you know, Crisis crew, Battle Reflex under me. That's just because I've been up and down the West Coast. I'm surprised I don't have a Portland crew under me. You know, that's just saying. It's just I've been doing it so long that where people just kind of crews just faded, dropped, and then you have to join a new crew. And then, you know, it's just like it's been so long. It's just watching it come and go. But all these crews that I just named are pretty much all family, you know. The B-Boy family. They never quit. They've been doing it probably just as long as I have, you know. But much respect to everyone that's still, you know, keeping the culture alive and that had my back when the time of my worst moment in my B-Boy, you know, time. And, you know, this guy right here keeping things like this going, you know, that's awesome. You know, it's like, oh, man. And, you know, it's funny is I was just thinking about, like, I need to document myself someday. Yeah. You know, because I'm not going to be doing, you know, you just never know. You really don't.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I looked up to you when I first started. And, I mean, I don't know. You're still a huge inspiration to me just because every time I see you, it's like, this guy is crazy good. And, I mean, and then everything else that you've been through, it's just amazing. So,
yeah. It is. It never quit. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I can inspire people. That's the honest truth, and you know, it's like it's awesome to give back that, you know, and hopefully, you know, just I don't know. I love everyone out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those big guys that just with a big heart. And
no, that's good. That's important to have. Yeah, especially let go of the hate and bring in the love.
Don't judge.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Love everyone, man. Everybody is different. So, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean you have to get along with them, but everyone is different.
Yeah. Dope, man. So where can people find you? What's your Instagram?
So yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's BBoy Kornnut, spelled with a K and 2 N's, and just all together. And then also on YouTube as well. I'm trying to get my YouTube going again, more videos up there because you know, I just seen it still sticking around.
Yeah, might as well just put some stuff up.
I mean, my MySpace, I don't know where those videos are.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened to MySpace.
You know what I'm saying? So
I never deleted my MySpace account, but someone probably did. I don't know.
Probably got deleted.
I stopped using it a long time. I mean, I try not to use social media too much.
You know, I'm a little outdated on a lot of the technology, but I be trying to stay relevant.
Yeah. No,
It's
honestly, I stopped using social media until I started this podcast, and I was like, oh crap, I need to figure out how to use all this stuff. So I feel like a super boomer when I'm trying to like figure everything out, and people are like, oh, you idiot. Like,
right. Yeah. Who cares what
like my
people
mom
think?
is better on some of these things than me. Just like, oh crap, okay.
The thing is, as long as you're trying,
Yeah.
that's what makes the big difference. Is when you don't try, then you're just standing still.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, keep moving.
Keep moving.
Yeah, I think that's the motto of this podcast. Keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry this show sucks. Keep it moving.
Woo!